However you define success, if you wish to be successful, you'll have to fully apply your personal talents. You'll also have to be strong enough to overcome the inevitable obstacles that will block your path. I hope that by the end of this presentation, you'll apply the simple principles outlined here long enough to recognize their long-term benefits. Okay, now, put on your thinking cap. Have you ever wondered why you normally don't remember your dreams? That they quickly fade and look like this soon after you awaken? It's because your senses are essentially turned off while you're asleep. You'll notice, too, that your most indelible memories, those you've carried your whole life, are associated with intense emotions such as ecstasy, fear, anger, and grief. This suggests that voluntarily coming to your senses makes learning more permanent. Okay, let's set the stage for you to imagine coming to your senses while overlooking the Caribbean Sea. You can see the blue sky, white fluffy clouds, ripples on the water, green jungle, and a yellow house. Imagine the sound of the surf crashing against the shore. Feel the sunshine and breeze on your skin. There's the smell of salt in the air and a whiff of tropical flowers. Now that your senses have been awakened, it's important to understand how the terms synergy and flourishing are related. For example, if you wish to grow a royal palm, you'll need a healthy seed, rich soil, rainfall, sunshine, and time. When all of these independent factors combine, you'll end up with this. This is an example of synergy. Of course, the scientific principle of synergy also applies to bananas, bird of paradise, bougainvillea, and much more complicated beings such as people. In a way, it's miraculous. A song is a good example of human synergy. Assembling a song out of more than one musical part has a much more dramatic effect than when each of the parts is played individually. A symphony has a more dramatic effect than a single musician strumming an acoustic guitar. When the necessary factors come together in a person's life, he or she may be referred to as flourishing. A flourishing person is described in these ways. Flourishing leads to high achievement, greater self-esteem, and more importantly, resilience in the face of stress. A flourishing person is usually happy and has good relationships with others. If you think about it, building resilience is the main message of the Three Little Pigs fable told to you so long ago. If you've built a house of straw and not of brick, this is what happens. Here's a small sample of people who have flourished and accomplished a great deal with their lives. This is the formula for achievement, a byproduct of flourishing. If there is no talent nor effort, nothing can be achieved. Talent refers to effort refers to keep in mind there are other factors out of your control, such as historical timing, family wealth, educational opportunities, and the overall economy. The Italian Renaissance artist Michelangelo provides vivid examples of what can be accomplished when a human being relentlessly applies talent. The Libyan Sibyl is one of 300 painted figures on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in Rome. Follow the arrow, and you'll see one of the most famous paintings of all time. The creation of Adam. At 26, Michelangelo sculpted David. It's just over 5 meters or 17 feet tall and weighs 6 tons. Throughout the 20th century, psychologists focused their efforts on relieving misery and uprooting the disabling conditions of life. To a great degree, they succeeded, and there are now effective treatments for most psychological problems. At the end of the century, a shift occurred, and psychologists began researching what makes life worth living and how to enable the conditions to make life worth living. Social scientists, such as Dr. Martin Seligman, former president of the American Psychological Association, decided to deconstruct the concept of happiness. He published his findings in the textbook Flourish, a visionary new understanding of happiness and well-being. Though a wonderful scientific textbook, I believe most people will find Flourish a bit too complicated for their liking. Therefore, I've decided to present Dr. Seligman's main observations and suggestions in a manner that most people will find relatively easy to apply to their lives. Flourishing, or well-being, is composed of 5 elements, and I'm paraphrasing Dr. Seligman here. The first is positive emotion, what we feel in the present moment. An entire life led successfully around this element is referred to as the pleasant life. Unfortunately, a life dominated by the search for pleasure eventually becomes hollow. Engagement refers to flow, being one with the music, time stopping, and the loss of self-consciousness during an absorbing activity. Thought and feeling are usually absent during flow states. Referred to as the engaged life, flow activities include sports, playing musical instruments, games, and painting. There are no shortcuts to flow, as you need to deploy your highest strengths and talents to meet the world in flow. This is me, performing in front of a small audience. I'm concentrating fully on singing and playing my guitar to the best of my ability. Meaning. Most people want meaning and purpose in their lives. The meaningful life consists in belonging to and serving something you believe is bigger than the self. Positive institutions allow this, such as religion, charities, family, political parties, and so on. Accomplishment. Pursuing success, winning, achievement, and mastery for their own sake can be seen in the pursuit of wealth. People often act to exert mastery over their environment. Positive relationships. Very little that is positive is solitary. When have you laughed the hardest, felt indescribable joy, sensed profound meaning and purpose, or felt proud of an accomplishment? All took place around other people. Other people are the best antidote to the downs of life and the single most reliable up. Scientists found that doing a kindness produces the single most reliable momentary increase in well-being of any exercise tested. To test this, Dr. Seligman recommends that you find one wholly unexpected kind thing to do as soon as possible and just do it. Afterwards, notice what happens to your mood. By combining these factors in your life, you will promote synergy and begin to flourish. Since it rolls off the tongue a little easier, I prefer to use the acronym PERMA. The basic plot of the movie Groundhog Day involves a cynical, self-centered TV weatherman who mysteriously becomes trapped in a time loop whereby he relives the same day over and over for many years. At first, he attempts to escape his stagnant lifestyle through gluttony, such as gorging on sweets, risk-taking, such as instigating a police chase, and deception in the form of seduction. Smitten by Rita, a genteel woman, Phil eventually cultivates his talents, treats others kindly, becomes a superior person, and his dreams come true. Phil was happiest in the presence of Rita. He played the piano, sculpted ice, bowled, and played pool to enter a state of flow. By exercising sympathy, compassion, empathy, and genuine interest, Phil bridged the gulf that separated him from others. Meaningful activities included studying medicine to try and save the old man's life. He changed the older lady's tire and caught the falling boy. Phil learned to speak French and Italian, a truly exceptional accomplishment. Striving to maximize all 5 of these elements in your life will lead to increased well-being and the ability to better withstand the stressors life throws at everyone. In addition, as you begin to flourish, you'll notice the psychological dents you've accumulated along your life path will be less bothersome. Though I attended dozens of professional seminars over the years, not many were memorable. With that in mind, here's a simple way to incorporate the principles of PERMA into your life. Obtain a small spiral notebook and mark the front in this fashion. Leave the notebook in the open where it will easily catch your attention during the day. Upon noticing the notebook, think of ways you might fulfill a PERMA factor at some point in the day. Prior to retiring for the evening, write down the elements you fulfilled during the day and give yourself some credit. Some activities deserve more than 1 credit. Notes in my PERMA book include positive emotion while going for a long walk with my wife, engagement while playing my guitar, strengthening relationships while socializing with friends. Creating presentations such as this one is meaningful to me and generates a sense of accomplishment as well. Viewing the movie Groundhog Day with these principles in mind is a rewarding experience. If you enjoyed this presentation, you'll probably like my YouTube video, What is the Meaning of Life 101, and the University of Pennsylvania website, AuthenticHappiness.org.